We all suffer from a spot of cabin fever every now and again, but even if you're stuck for a space, a great use of your time to improve your all-round e-bike skills is the good old track stand. So let's have a look how to improve it and take it one step further. Now, a great place to practice the track stand is actually in your garden because the grass adds that little bit of resistance to stop you from being too twitchy. Now, in terms of the setup, I'm in an easy gear on this bike. I think I'm in second or third, but I daren't look back in case I topple over. But quite critical is your handlebar position. As you can see, my wheel is in a 45-degree angle here, and my inner of the handlebar is almost touching on the top of my thigh. Now, most of my weight is actually going through the outside of the handlebar, so there's actually not really that much need to hold on to the inner grip. Okay, pedal position. Now, when you're doing a track stand, some people actually recommend that your leading foot should be in a slightly downward position. Now, the problem with doing that, I'll try and demonstrate, is you can't actually shift your weight backwards quite so easily. So if you move your pedals into a level position, both front and rear, as you can see, I can now shift my weight backwards and forwards a lot more easily. Okay, so we've got your gearing sorted, your bars in the right position, your pedals are level. What next? Well, I've actually got the motor off on this e-bike because obviously I don't need any power. What about brakes? You don't actually need to use the brakes as well because that grass should be giving you some resistance on the tyres. Tyre pressure, probably best to run them in the mid-20s. Okay, so let's go through a few moves how to progress your track standing. Right, let's start off with the basic standing up track stand. Now, you should be able to do this from a standing position, especially if you're stuck for space. So literally stand up on the pedals in the right position. Now look about 10 to 15 meters ahead, and that tends to stabilize your ride. So both hands on the handlebars to start off. Now you can progress this then by going for your inner hand off the handlebar, and you can actually feel the weight through your handlebar and also through your feet. And that's what gives you the balance. So then you go from outside grip to inside grip, slightly more difficult because obviously you haven't got quite the leverage as you would have on the outside of the handlebar. Now, when you're doing this position, you'll actually feel, like I mentioned, all that weight is going through your feet, and that's actually what stabilizes your balance point. Okie doke, let's take things a step further. This time we're going to go for a standing track stand to a one-handed outside track stand, one-handed inside track stand, a little bit harder. Keep it there on the inside hand. Right, now we're going to go into a seated position. Remember, keep looking ahead. Now, my daughter Jasmine is about 5 meters at the moment, so that's not a bad actually distance to look at. So here we are, sitting down track stand. So just keep it there. Like I said, the wheel needs to be in the same position, and now you can start to feel where all those weight is moving around. I can actually feel it through my bum, through my thighs, through my calves and through my feet. So from that you can progress to a one-handed sat down track stand. Actually, this feels a little bit easier for some reason. Maybe it's because I've taken that weight and I'm using that now to balance myself. Craig, I think I've learned something there. And then obviously from there I'm only going to go one place, and that is the no-handed track stand. And then you need to find your balance point, which is now probably more in your calves and in your thighs. I'm actually looking down where I should be looking a little bit further ahead, but this is what I was going to say, had I not messed that up, was that the sitting position is a great place to do other track stand progression. So can you just give us the glass? Thirsty work. Oh, right. Now this is a plastic glass, by the way. That means it's not glass. So, crikey, I'm not very good at drinking. It's got up my nose. So sometimes you need to move around just to feel your balance point. There you go. Right, next up, you can see what I've done here. Now, obviously, the next step in the progression ladder is a drop of strip poker track stand challenge. So the idea is to do this maybe with your mates and see you can take off the most amount of clothing whilst balancing on your e-mountain bike. So I'm going to start off, hats off. Right, now if your children are watching, I suggest that you turn off your screens now. Next up is going to be jacket off. Oh, it's a bit tricky. Oh, ah, jacket off. Okay, next one is trousers off. And finally, as the sun sets on our track stand challenge, it is the Ordnance Survey 1 to 25,000 challenge. Now, nobody said this could be done. Oh, this is horrible. That class is open? Oh, that open?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So it's open. The map is open. Oh, now need to wrap it back up. Oh, this is not very easy. Maybe I need to take my both hands off. This is absolutely stressful. Technique. Oh my God, the Ordnance Survey Track Stand Challenge. Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to follow us on social media and keep that practice going in your back garden. Yes! Ah, look at that. Friday night nectar. Boom. Now, you're probably thinking that this is for after your track stand practicing, but no, this is actually the over 18s version of track stand challenge. Nah, only kidding you.